Hey guys, it's Ash here with WatchMojo, and today we'll be ranking every Midoriya fight. That's right, for this list we'll be looking at all of Deku's major brawls from across the series so far. Is there anything we missed? Let us know in those comments, and if there's another My Hero Academia list you want to see, go to my Twitter at AshJBo and let me know. Number 20 versus Ending. Sound Logic says ambushing the number 1 ranked hero is a pretty bad idea. Using one of his sons as collateral, that's even more thick-skulled. But at least Endeavor's got 3 eager interns in his back seat, ready for a promotion. Admittedly, this isn't too much of a fight, since Ending's name is also an apt descriptor for his quick fate. Todoroki and Endeavor handle the fun stuff, and Deku's in charge of protecting civilians from the icy hot crossfire. It's not as glamorous, but at least he got to show off his new quirk. Number 19 versus Nejire and Tamaki. When the curtain rises on Class 1A's training session, 2 of the big 3 are dressed up as villains. Who knew UA had such a robust theater department? Most every first year gets a standing ovation in the cool department during this spar. Well, everyone except for Deku. He only gets to throw a single punch, and he chickens out before it even connects. Guess Tamaki's method acting wasn't convincing enough. Sure, watching part of the big 3 pretend to be evil is definitely worth the price of admission alone, but as a Deku fight, it's underwhelming at best. Number 18 versus Toga and Mimic. During the raid on the Shihasakai compound, the League of Villains delivered their signature brand of fun fights, especially with a certain one-for-all inheritor. It may spell bad news for the operation, but Deku should be flattered there's a villain so excited to see him. Here's Toga's demented dance of knives, fists, and terror is a high point, even if it's over just as soon as it begins. Once the League betrays Overhaul, Deku throws a full cowling kick against Mimic. And that's about it. As fun of a brawl as this is, it's hard to see it as anything more than a bridge to a bigger fight. Number 17, Cavalry Battle. Deku really needs to work on his recruitment skills. After a haphazard team-building session leaves him with a distinct lack of offense prowess, there's only one strategy left for his group. Run away and hope no one catches them. Of course, that wouldn't work with the likes of Todoroki in the ring. But while Midoriya is no natural-born leader, this round's emphasis on teamwork does show off his underutilized social skills. He doesn't take for granted that his team trusts him to win. So even though it's not a resounding success, Deku proves that he's capable of stepping up to the plate when necessary. Number 16 versus League of Villains. Impromptu life and death fights against hardened criminals wasn't on the curriculum, but Class 1A still passed with flying colors. The League of Villains assault on USJ marked the first time Midoriya and the others faced a genuine threat. There was no better time for Deku to prove he could be a hero, and he did just that by using his mind instead of his fists. Sure, the crux of his strategy just involved hitting the other guys really hard, but the results are the same nonetheless. Plus, he managed to even make use of Mineta's quirk, which is definitely worth some extra credits. Number 15 versus Gran Torino. One of Midoriya's best qualities is his strategic mindset, but All Might's former mentor proves it's also a weakness. Gran Torino may not be in the physical shape Deku expected, but his quirk is still capable of literally flying laps around villains. In their initial spar, Deku can't lay a finger on him, and that's no hyperbole.
だったらなおさら撃ってこいや受精卵小僧
With great power comes great responsibility, and Deku spends too much time overthinking instead of throwing superpowered punches. It's more an embarrassment than a true fight, but it's a necessary stepping stone for Deku to learn that super strength means nothing if you don't know how to use it.
そして意識がちぐはぐだだからこうなる
Number 14 versus Kami. The provisional license exam was a handful even before love started to bloom on the battlefield. The neighboring school's quirky abilities separated most of the UA student body, but at least Deku swooped in to save Uraraka. Except it was actually Kami in disguise, who is in reality an undercover toga. Yeah, it's kinda complicated. Especially since, for most of their bouts, it's unclear if she's trying to defeat Midoriya or flirt with him.
お互い知りたがりだ。次は私ね。
The inclusion of Toga, adds a layer of paranoia to the fight that lets Deku flex his keen observational skills. Unfortunately, that alone didn't help him pass the exam. To do that, he still had to go through Gang Orca.
救護と大敵すべてを並行処理できるかな
Number 13 versus Night Eye. Deku has 3 minutes to get a stamp from a pro hero, but this time, there's pride on the line, and a lot of it.
早く示せ私が貴様を雇用するメリットをその有用性を
Night Eye believes Midoriya is unfit to be All Might's successor, and his foresight quirk makes his victory a literal matter of time. Seeing Deku jump into a fight he's destined to lose is a bit painful to watch, but at least it nets him a win where it counts. Deku's real strength has always been his conviction, not his quirk, and that's what earns Night Eye's approval.
なぜですか全く達成できてないですけど
印鑑を取り自分で押せとは言ったができなければ不採用とは言っていない
Though this whole thing could have been avoided if he'd managed to make Night Eye laugh in the first place. Number 12 versus Class 1B. The rivalry between the first years of UA will have to wait. Deku's got some serious soul-searching to do first. When his quirk goes haywire, Midoriya has to embrace his newfound ability or risk losing the joint training session.
そうか逃げて力が抑えられない
His solution? Not use his quirk at all. But even powerless, Deku's long-awaited rematch with Shinso features all the mind games that made their original a standout. Add in Class 1B's unique slew of abilities, and this clash brims with some of the most creative interactions in the series yet. It's all in service to a clear character arc for Deku, who tames his powers and ends things in a suitably smashing fashion.
力に対する恐怖はもうなかったこの力は味方
Number 11 versus Gran Torino Round 2.
そいつを維持したまま動けりゃ体育祭の頃のお前とは一線を画すさてどうするか
On paper, not much has changed between Deku's first and second bouts with All Might's mentor. But this time around, Deku's use of full cowling puts him within spitting range of Gran Torino. That may not seem like much, but compared to their last SmackDown, it's a big improvement. He may not have lasted long in the ring, but what Midoriya lacks in stamina, he makes up for with impact. There's a palpable sense of weight behind each of Midoriya's attacks that handily sells the scale of this power-up. While he's technically down 2 against Gran Torino, Deku learned a lot more than the scoreboard lets on. Number 10 versus Mirio. This time, it's not totally Midoriya's fault that he can't land a punch. In fact, Deku fared much better than most of his classmates. Though that's not saying much. Even though it's a 1-on-20 match, Mirio still made this look unfair for Deku and the others. Though it's hard to blame 1A too harshly. We'd be frazzled if our opponent got naked in the middle of a fight too. It's not really much of a duel in the end, but at least Deku got a front row seat for one of UA's big three in action.
とまあこんな感じなんだよね。
わけわからず全員が腹パンされただけなんですが。
Number 9 versus Shinso. For all intents and purposes, this fight was over before a single fist was thrown.
なんてことを言うんだ！
俺の勝ちだ。
せっかく忠告したってのに！
Not just because of the obvious brainwashing quirk either. Deku's raw strength was always going to garner more praise than Shinso's mind control ability. Instead of focusing on combat, this round of the sports festival is a surprisingly emotional affair about the luck that goes into a quirk-based society. As a result, it's hard to cheer when Midoriya finally outsmarts Shinso and tosses him out the ring.
負けられないんだ！
Deku, of all people, understands the unfairness of the hero world. He knows that if it weren't for All Might, Midoriya would have been even worse off than Shinso. Number 8 versus Bakugo. This school-sanctioned game of cops and robbers lit a fuse of an age-old rivalry between Kajan and Midoriya. The issue? Midoriya can't quite control his quirk just yet, but that doesn't mean he's totally helpless. It's a good thing Deku's got some hand-to-hand moves, since Bakugo's totally aiming to kill. The spar has a propulsive sense of tension, not just because Midoriya's up against his rival, but also because the wannabe hero has to outmaneuver a much more experienced adversary. It's a riveting display of willpower that builds to a final smash where Deku truly proved that he too could be a hero.
ヒーローチーム。
Number 7 versus Gentle Criminal and La Brava. Deku has a nasty habit of running into villains on the streets. It may sound ridiculous, but there's something undeniably Deku about refusing to sound the alarm so Eri can enjoy the festival. The grounded stakes and interesting battle locales do a lot to set this fight apart, but the best smash comes from Gentle himself.
抵抗しないで！もう諦めてくれ！
His and La Brava's backstory lent the conflict a deeper emotional core than it at first seems. As satisfying as it is to see Deku clinch a win by himself, there's a somber feeling that Gentle Criminal and La Brava shouldn't have been forced into villainy at all.
これまで戦ってきた誰より戦いづらかったよ。ジェントル。
Number 6 versus Stain. A claustrophobic alleyway is an apt setting for a throwdown with a villain whose quirk adds new meaning to the phrase, "You are what you eat." Deku and the others have faced enemies before, but never one with this sort of bloodthirsty sense of justice. Thankfully, Midoriya's new full cowling buys enough time for Todoroki to join the fray with a well-timed assist.
次から次へと。 今日はよく邪魔が入る。
Stain's paralysis quirk lends to some captivating interactions, but the 3-on-1 makes it an even playing field of fire and fists. When the music swells and Midoriya combines his talents with the others, the resulting final strike leaves the villain as a different kind of Stain.
拳が！
Number 5 versus Muscular. With no mercy, no plan, and no backup in sight, it's time for Midoriya to put his quirk where his mouth is, against his most imposing foe yet.
大丈夫！こっから後ろには絶対行かせないから走れ！
The stellar voice acting and incredible music enhances one of the most visceral beatdowns in the entire series. Even with a broken arm and tears streaming down his face, Deku's unwavering conviction to save Kota is just the kind of emotional moment no series does better. His willpower inspires Kota to accept Deku as a hero, which leads to a breathtaking 1,000,000% smash that we still get chills from to this day. Number 4 versus All Might. It's final exams and Midoriya's up against the former number 1 hero. But worse than all of that, he's paired with Bakugo.
聞いてってかっちゃん
だからてめえの力なんだ合格に必要ねえっつってんだ
怒鳴らないでよそれでいつも会話にならないんだよ
Their partnership gets off to a predictably rocky start, but the explosive action and incredible animation makes it riveting nonetheless. These two have never had to fight on the same side, which makes the transformation from bitter rivals to begrudging allies all the more gratifying.
撃てごめんなさいオールマイト
Sure, it may only amount to Bakugo throwing Deku as hard as he can, but it's a start. The epic climax doesn't just cap off an action-packed spectacle of a fight, but also concludes a worthy chapter in the show's best relationship.
どいてくださいオールマイトスマッシュ
Number 3 versus Overhaul.
誰も死なせない君を助ける
After everything Eri went through, it's poetic that she's the key to doling out some well-deserved payback. Thanks to her reversion quirk, Midoriya is able to truly cut loose for the first time in, well, ever. The sublime production values conveys the sheer scale of One for All at 100% with some bombastic displays of strength. Deku's made grand declarations before, but it's all the more powerful when he's literally holding the weight of his promise on his back.
なれるかよ
Against one of the most dangerous criminals in the entire series, this is in serious contention for one of Deku's best moments, period. If only for how cool that final punch looks. Number 2 versus Bakugo Round 2. There's no villain under the sun who could antagonize these two more than each other. Even if Midoriya is hesitant to fight, it's clear neither character will move on until they settle their rivalry. And courtesy of Bakugo, it goes down with an actual bang. The excellent fight choreography is some of the best the series has to offer, but it's impressive that the genuine explosions aren't even the most exciting part.
僕にないものをたくさん持っていた君はオールマイトよりも見つけなすごい人だったんだ
Nope, that belongs to the emotional heft of seeing these two grapple with All Might's downfall in different ways. This one brawl single-handedly culminates 3 seasons of storytelling with an unforgettable display of hearts, explosions, and smashes.
負けるか
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1 versus Todoroki.
全力でかかってこい
This gloriously animated fight is a spectacle in every sense of the word. There's so much impact behind each blow that Midoriya begins to run out of fingers to smash. Amazingly, things only heat up further when Todoroki unleashes his flames. With the impeccable You Say Run theme rocking in the background, it might be genuinely impossible to resist the epicness of their final confrontation.
俺だってヒーローに
The mind-blowing animation is only second to the reminder of Deku's humanity. Even if it meant losing the match, he never stopped trying to stoke Todoroki's flames. It's more than the act of a hero, it's a feat that's 100% Deku through and through.
ありがとな。
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.